Hi, in today's video we'll be looking at how to create invoice in QuickBooks Online. Now the reason why we create invoice in QuickBooks Online is because we want to offer service or sell a product on credit. So we are selling or offering the service to receive payment later on a later date. So if you are selling on cash and you are receiving payment instantly, please don't use invoice. Use invoice when you sell on credit. So first step is go to new. Under customer here we have invoice, so let's click on invoice. Okay, now from the customer menu here, the customers that are listed here, you've already created those customers, otherwise you would not see any customer. This place will be empty. So when you are setting up this software for the first time, you have to create, or you can come here and add new so that it can show on this drop down. So let's go with cool cars. Now you see some information we pull out. Once I select cool cars, these informations have been entered when creating cool cars. Okay, if you have the customer email, it's also going to pop out from here. Okay, let's choose another customer. Let's see. Okay, see, cool cars, it's out. I've selected another one. Let me go to cool cars again, so you can see automatically. Okay, the cool cars information, the customer email is out, the billing address is out, the terms is net 30, the invoice date is today's date, 9th of March, and the due date is on 8th of April. Okay, now for now there is no balance with this particular customer. Over here you have the product and services. So this customer, Army Birds Sanctuary, oh, it has changed. Okay, let's use that. Still alright. So once you click on this drop down, also you wouldn't see any item except you've created those items. You can create them here, or you go to product and services menu to create them. So I'm going to select one item here. Let's say concrete. Now this concrete will have quantity as 1, then the rate you can specify. So let's say the rate is 1.5, and we requested for 2, so this will give us 3,000. Now if it is a taxable item, you make sure you select the tax button. Then the tax is going to apply here 8% based on your location. This is California and Tucson, so you can add new to make it more relevant to your own area, okay, to your own locality. So I'm going to uncheck that so that we don't tax. Then if you have other options, you come down again and you add, you come down like that, you see it keep on adding up. Okay, then for now we are going to go with design only. Then if you have a message on the invoice you want to apply, is over here. Then other attachments can be the invoice you are issuing to the customer, so you can also show existing invoice if this is the second time you are entering, or you want to see the existing invoices with this customer. Now that being said, we're going to go to this drop down here, then save and close. So once we save and close, we'll go ahead to check our report to see the effects it has on our financials, right? So how do you get to report? If you come to report here and select standard, so I'm gonna hit on this. Okay, standard report. Now we can generate different kind of report here. We can generate profit and loss. You can also go to sales, and you can also look at account receivable, which is otherwise known as debtor. Okay, because you've sold on credit, this particular customer is owing you. So you can also go to balance sheet and see as an asset also. So you can prepare profit and loss. You see the expense you incur. You go to balance sheet and you see the asset, the account receivable. If it is an inventory on the balance sheet, you will still see that the inventory has increased. That is if you are tracking if it is an inventory part. If it is a non-inventory part, it doesn't track. So let's go with balance sheet first of all. Then on the profit and loss, we'll see the revenue we've generated by selling this. Now, another point you have to take note of is that your report can either be in accrual basis or cash basis. QuickBooks have that option for you to select. If you want to deal with accrual, you see your report on accrual basis. And if you want to see your report in cash basis, you also see your report in cash basis. You can see here, accounting method, cash and accrual. So I'm going to go with accrual. And if you want to compare another period, so let's say you have different periods that you've entered different years. Yeah, maybe you use it for 2 years, 2024 and 2025. You can come down here and previous period or previous year, previous year or previous period. You can select on that. Now, we can go ahead and run the report. So we used today's date, so we wouldn't see that information now. So I have to select to the 9 because we use 9. And I also want to select this. I want to leave it at 9 March, 9th of March. Okay, this is good. Then I'll click on run report. Now, once the report is out, we'll go straight to view the okay, it's still showing as of March. Now, from a balance sheet, you don't need to look at checking because you did not receive any money or your savings. Nothing will affect that. Account receivable, something will definitely affect that because it's sold on credit. So let's take a look at account receivable. Now you can see it's showing here 9th of March. So you scroll to the right, you see the 3,000 we just incur now. It means we have a balance with Amibed of 5,281.52, right? Yeah, so this is the report from this end. So I'm gonna head back to the previous report. So let's look at inventory assets. I don't know if that is an inventory asset, but with the look of the value here, I don't think it's an inventory asset. So that particular transaction is not an inventory asset. So let's just go back. So it's not inventory, so we don't expect to see it here. So that would be all for this section from balance sheet. So let's go back to check our income account. Let's see if it has recognized the 3,000 revenue on accrual, though we did not receive the money. So that's why it is on accrual basis. So we'll go to profit and loss. Okay, so please be mindful of the date range, otherwise you wouldn't see what you're looking for. I love going specifically to the date so that I can see just for that. So now run the report now. So we'll see just the transaction that occurred on the 9th of March. So you can see fountains and garden lighting 3,000, okay, which is also accurate. So let's just go around and I'll show you other reports you can also generate, but these two are good enough for you to actually send the report to see, to have an insight. So you can also come here and you see there's profit and loss by customer. You can see profit and loss you've made by each customer based on the sales, the transaction you just made now. You can also check your profit and loss by month. Since this is March, it will show you the profit you've made on March, right? If you have a tag group, you can also do that to see. Then profit and loss comparison, you want to compare this year with last year's or this month with last month. Profit and loss detail will show you more detail about the transaction the transaction you created, you recorded. Then profit and loss percentage. There are other options you can also look at to get a view of what your report is all about. So that being said, this is how you record a credit sales, whether service or inventory, in QuickBooks Online.